Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the City of Ben Harbor Commission meeting to order. I'd like to begin with an invocation or a silent prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Ron Singleton, and the prayer will be by Commissioner Sharon Henderson. All rise.
Lord, I just thank you for this great city of Benton Harbor. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in it. And I just pray for each person leading in here and for the decisions that we need to make on behalf of the city of Harbor. I just ask you to give us wisdom and guidance. In Jesus' name.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Present.
Commissioner Henderson,
Present.
Commissioner Henry,
Present.
Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Commissioner Kennard,
Present.
Commissioner Singleton,
Present.
Commissioner Warren,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats, Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
This brings us to approval of minutes, May 19, 2025. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion for approval.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is there support?
Support.
It's supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kennard? Yes. Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry? Yes. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion for approval.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is there support? Support. It's supported by Commissioner or Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Is there discussion? Carry none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry? Yes. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard? Yes. Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to a public hearing. The amended Brownfield Plan for Project T redevelopment project. Are there representatives present? I'd like to open this public hearing. Please. And I'd like to yield to the city manager to segue into the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, this project has been in the works for some time. We recently were approached by the group from Project T to go back to the Brownfield for some additional support that was needed for the project, and we've recommended that the commission approve it. And at this point, we have present two representatives from Project T to speak to the issues and answer any questions you have.
Just for clarification, we do have one representative from Habitat for Humanity and Renovare Group. I yield.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Erin Hudson, Executive Director for Harbor Habitat for Humanity. And I have Jill Ferrari from Renovare Development here with me. We are here about Project T, the development at 960 Agard. There will be 14 duplexes in Phase 1 and a mixed-use building with commercial space on the ground floor and 3 floors of apartments for rent. On top, there will be 39 apartment units. We have put the project out to bid, and due to the missing middle grant that we received, there are some stipulations that were put into effect, such as Davis-Bacon, and that has made it so that we didn't receive any residential bills. All of the bids that came in were commercial, which increased our cost by a little over $1 million, about $1.2 million. So that is why we are here today, to discuss amending our brownfield plan to help with those costs.
I'll just add that we are on track to close before the end of the month. This is our last step. We've gotten the clear to close from all of our lenders, so we'll be very excited to host a groundbreaking sometime in the next 60 days.
Any other pertinent information for this body to consider before we open the floor for comments from the council? I would like to recognize the Planning and Economic Development Chair and Mayor Pro Tem of the city, Dwayne Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. First of all, I want to thank both of you for all your hard work and determination with this project. Ms. Hudson is a product of Benton Harbor, went to Georgetown University, worked for major companies, and decided to come back here, not just give back with word, but give back in deed. And I do want to commend you for your stick to it to get this done. You've done an excellent job. I think when we first started this, you guys were building in Bridgman, and there were roadblocks for you building here. But I'm grateful for this commission that we kicked out all the roadblocks and brought you back to Benton Harbor to build for low to mod income, which is the heartbeat of our community. And I do know we do need to hurry up and build, because with tariffs and everything else that are coming, the price of wood is going way up in the air, steel, everything is going different ways. And so to have something that will be monumental, I do commend you and both entities, because even at the MML, when I first met you, you spoke so highly of Project T, which is going to be one of the heartbeats of Benton Harbor. And people don't know what Project T is. Project T is at the Mercy site, the Mercy Hospital site, where they'll be building and developing. And it's been a long road. I think it's been like 2 years, if not more. Like 3 years that we've been working on this, but to see it come to fruition and to see it happen, and you guys are not coming begging, but you're coming trying to get it done. And I do appreciate that wholeheartedly. And I know there's going to be some contractors or some people or residents from the city of Benton Harbor who will have the chance for employment. They will have the chance for employment. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Through the chair? So residents will have the chance for employment. Okay. So I don't want nobody going and giving us some old other speech that we've heard for the last 15 years. You guys are going to make sure that Benton Harbor residents have the chance to become employed.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Ron Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Also heard, too, that the Davis-Bacon Act is in play with this, too. So that means that those who are employed will be receiving the wages that's mandated by Davis-Bacon. Right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Just for clarity, can you specify the Davis-Bacon Act and what that means?
Because federal funding is involved in the missing middle funds that are coming down through MSHDA, the Davis-Bacon Act is applicable. And as part of that requirement, we are required to pay prevailing wage to all of the contractors that are doing hard cost work on the project. So that would include the site work and all of the vertical construction on the project. Does not apply to soft costs like legal and survey, things like that, but it does apply to all the laborers that are doing the hard and site work on the project.
Just for clarity, 39 apartment units,
Yes.
14 duplexes, and could you speak to the commercial space and maybe some with the interior of the apartment unit?
Yes, the ground floor commercial space is really split into 2 units right now. The first is childcare, and we have a letter of intent from Flowers, which is the former Tri-County Head Start. They will have approximately 3,500 square feet of interior space, I believe that's correct, and then exterior space as required by childcare licensing requirements. The other space, we are looking at basic needs such as grocery, co-working, things that would support family stability in the development. This vision that Aaron Hudson has had from the beginning is to have a comprehensive approach to living more in a more financially strong way and having access to basic services that will improve family strength. So we haven't signed a letter of intent on the second space, but those are the types of uses that we're looking for.
And the interior of the 39 apartments?
Yes, so right now the units are 1, 2, and I believe there are some 3 bedrooms in the mix. That's 3 stories of apartments, and the range right now is between about 40% AMI to 80% AMI, predominantly with some higher end rates as well, up into the 120. So there's a nice mix of income within the building.
Can you speak to numbers or?
I don't have that in front of me, but I do believe that the 1s and 2s are fairly split with, I think, about 3 beds. I think that's correct.
In terms of income?
Oh, and the rent?
Yeah. Well, first of all, in terms of what targeted, say, persons, making from 35 to 40,000 to 90,000, what type of income is being targeted and what will rent look like?
I don't have that information in front of me, I apologize. But be happy to come back and present that at a later date or send it through Alex to the city. But we have definitely programmed a broad range of rents, primarily to the clientele of Harbor Habitat, but also we wanted to make sure that there were some 100 to 120% rents. There's not a lot of market rate in the building, I don't believe.
So for Harbor Habitat, our families have to make between 60 and 80% of the area median income, and it varies by the number of people in the household. That's why that's kind of difficult to answer off the cuff.
So if I'm a new teacher, my wife is a entrepreneur, and we have 2 children, what would what would be qualifying for me to get a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom? Just hypothetically, I don't want to nail any hard numbers,
Right.
but just because this project is very, very widely watched. People are looking for housing. My inbox, well, I won't say my inbox, but my inbox, people, what happened to Project T? Am I going to be able to move? I'm ready to move.
Right. Okay, the numbers that I have in my head go down from 30 to 80%, but I don't believe we're going as low as 30 for this project. So for a family of 4, at about 60% AMI, I believe that's around, I want to say around 20 to 45,000. But I don't want to be quoted on that because I don't have the chart in front of me on the low end.
That would be on the very low.
very low end,
So what would be on the higher end?
up to 120%.
We can say that the homes will be sold, because I don't have the rents off the top of my head, but just to give you a picture, the three-bedroom homes in the duplex development are selling for around 180, 185.
Okay.
So, and those are three-bedroom homes, which you could fit a family of four in. So that helps a little bit with trying to understand the attainability.
So
of the
household would be maybe 80,000.
Yeah,
to
for that, it would be
90.
between 80 and 100.
Okay, 80 and
Right
100.
in that range.
Okay.
It's not lower income. There will be 4 units in the for sale set aside for Habitat clients, which are between 60 and 80, that will have additional down payment assistance, but the rest are going to be 2 beds at 165 and 3 beds at 185. So they're pretty attainably priced.
Okay. Because the other thing is the homeowners in that area, of course, they want to see something really nice. And they want for the development, and it has, to complement that area.
Right.
So that's a major, not concern, but, people want to see a really nice structure, and, people that are going to add to that area, not just in income, but as far as just holistically. I want to recognize Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Was there research done? Do you guys know that on average, most people make about $27,000? Was that taken in consideration?
Yes, we wanted there to be a broad range of affordability within the development, with a little bit of a higher focus from 60 to 120 in the for sale units, and then a broader range of affordability in the rentals that does dip down into that lower range. So there are some below 40s in the rental, so that we really do cover a range.
Okay, excuse me, you said there are some in the low 40, are we talking 40,000?
No,
40
40%
what?
of their median
40%,
income,
I just want
which
them
is
to
closer
answer.
to the
Thank
area
you.
that you're talking about.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. They're speaking on percentage as far as the median income, which is about $29,000. When you start going on an average, then the way this was negotiated was that they were going to have developers come in, but we're still going to make it affordable for our residents who had already been in Habitat for Humanity. But what we have to realize is that every customer that comes online is an extra water bill paying customer, extra income tax paying customer, extra property tax paying customer. All these things come online. So the property right now, we're struggling to cut the grass. I mean, we're paying somebody probably about $500 to $600, or it could be $1,000 to cut the grass a month. And now we can rid ourselves of the property and also put people in affordable housing. Because right now, if you go on Realtor.com, and this is an educational moment for all the Einsteins, if you go on Realtor.com and look up property where it's going for in Benton Harbor, they're selling junk for $75,000 to $80,000. That's literally not livable. You have to go in and do a whole bunch of repairs and everything like that to get something brand new, state of the art. Also with the daycare, grocery store, all these other kind of things. Unless we can find somebody better, I don't see a risk in this. So I do appreciate, again, your stick-to-itness, because there's been a lot of red tape and going on with the government right now. If we don't do something quick, it might become harder. So, and we've been through this before as a commission, where price rates have went up. Wood went up to a point to where, when we were at one point putting out something for $200,000, we had to pay $300,000 for it because of price of material. So again, I thank you for considering Benton Harbor and just stick to it. And, I mean, your name will always be remembered in Benton Harbor.
I'd like to recognize the city manager.
I too want to say thanks for all the hard work that you all have put into this. It's been quite a while we've been working on it, but we're moving forward, and I'm pleased to see it. I might mention the 807 Wells Street property that was part of the parcel also, although we've separated it. We're still working on cleaning it up, and it is, when it's cleaned up and ready to develop on, there should be 8 to 10 homes put on that by Harbor Habitat. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll be working closely with them to try to provide as much assistance as the city can give to make this go. We'll also be working with you and your subcontractors and so forth on the income tax and make sure everybody is tied into that, as well as looking for jobs for local residents.
There's two more things that we should mention that are supporting the affordability on the project. A number of the units will go through the Build Back Better program through Whirlpool. So we've been working very closely with Whirlpool's sustainability team, excuse me, to build energy efficiency into the for sale homes to try to drive down the energy costs as much as possible for the residents that are buying the homes. And in addition, we are layering multiple sources of down payment assistance, in some cases 2, 3, 4 layers of down payment assistance. So those first mortgages of 165 or 185, they might be as low as 125 to 145 because so much down payment assistance is coming in to make that home affordable on the front end.
I want to recognize First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
What's this again? Oh, thank you, Honorable Mayor. Just like to thank you guys for all of the commitment and the stick-to-itness. There was so much that happened along the road with this project, with the setbacks and the stops and starts. First time this kind of housing has been done in the city, the inner city, in a very long time. So this needed to happen. A large portion, as you guys know, of our budget is taxes and income taxes and stuff coming into the city. And so this will be another layer of revenue coming in to help the city continue to grow. So hopefully people will see this project and be inspired. I know it was difficult even finding companies to come in and to do this kind of a project because of the loss that they were going to take in doing so. So thank you guys for doing this, Renovare, which is an all-female firm, or a firm that is made up of all women, which is of itself very inspiring. So thank you guys for this project, and hopefully we can do more in the future because our housing stock needs to be built, and this is just another opportunity to do so. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Warren of the Second Ward.
Thank you. So I had a question on the affordability piece. For the apartments, you mentioned 40% AMI. Would that be a situation where it's need-based? So like the same apartment may cost one rent for one person and different rent for another? Is that what you mean by that?
Correct.
And for the down payment assistance, is that the same guideline? Or what would the guideline be for people that would be interested in that program?
So we're working on packaging that on this side of the state, and I don't have all the answers to that yet, but we will be looking at, some programs that come through private mortgage companies are not going to be income-based. They're just going to come with the mortgage that they're offering, and it's because the banks have a commitment to spend money in certain census tracts, and we happen to be in one of them. Other programs, other down payment assistance programs through MISTA are going to be targeted to families that are below 120% AMI, which all of our units fit into. So each program is going to have different requirements.
And then, I don't know if you know this answer, but my final question would be, with this down payment assistance, you mentioned that the mortgage might be as low as $125,000, but the program the homeowner would need to qualify for the higher amount, correct? They would have to be pre-approved for that higher amount, but you're saying as an incentive, they may not have to bring any money to the table?
So, no, the home buyer would be qualifying for the amount of the first mortgage. So if the first mortgage is 125, that is what they're qualifying for. But all of that down payment assistance would have to be secured, and there'd have to be documentation of that.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at-Large Singleton.
So I was just thinking with the down payment assistance, so theoretically, the homeowner could walk in the door with substantial amount of equity already in the property.
Yes, and these, because there is federal money, there's the Missing Middle Program, there is going to be a time period that it will have to remain affordable. So if they sell it in that time period, it would have to be sold to an income qualifying family. But after that, then that becomes true equity.
Thank you.
Yes, so just, and thank you for the explanation and information that's been provided. The missing middle, just as a FYI, the state of Michigan, they require that this development be a missing middle development. We shot for, or we were looking at low income at one point, and it was declined for different reasons from MISTA. But the missing middle was supported by the state, which is a good thing, because in speaking to persons in that first and that third ward, the homeowners there, they were more apt to accept. You're talking about people that's been living there for 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, and have invested their life and savings in that area. And like I said, the conversation that I had was that they want to see something really nice and something that's going to complement that area. And I think the state looked into it as well as Habitat and the Renovare development. So with that being said, we're going to close this side of the public hearing. There is a public side to make comments. Is there any other things that you would like to share before we open it up for the public?
Just that the units are going to be beautiful. It's going to be a very beautiful showpiece for our city. I think it will be something that we can be proud of, and something that we are looking to replicate across the country. The other Habitat affiliates are watching what we're doing here, and there's a great deal of opportunity to share what we learn here and to do it in other areas. So,
Well, my only objection would be that they can't take you with them. So thank you.
you're very welcome. Thank
I'd
you.
like to open it up for the public comment for this side of the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no participants in the public comment side of this hearing, I do want to yield to the gentleman approaching.
I'm only here because no one else is. I didn't hear a promise about the citizens getting a job. That's what I was waiting to hear. I heard, and I know what you said, but it don't matter. What matters is that the citizens get front, center stage when it comes to pitch positions in your endeavor.
Mr. Duncan, could you please speak in the microphone so YouTube,
Sure.
they're listening as well?
Did you guys hear what I said up until now? What I didn't hear was like a promise that the citizens would be upfront with the jobs on your endeavor. I heard that there were going to be some, and some is really not enough for our people. So if you guys want what we've been getting, then you don't even have to answer this question. But I would personally like a promise, because when we dealt with medical marijuana and all of that, they promised to do so very much, and they have not done that. And I brought that up, and I haven't heard anything else about it since. So my quest is to make sure we get some promises, and not just promises, but something on paper saying that they're going to do exactly what they said they're going to do. And I got just as much faith in you guys as they do, because it's a woman organization doing something, and that's more than I can say about a lot of us guys. We yes men, we everything else but what we're supposed to be, and that's totally for the citizens of Benton Harbor. And thank you for hearing me out. I still want that promise.
Madam Clerk, we will close the public hearing. And public comments stay on record for, is it 30 days? Or it's entered into?
I think it's entered into the minutes, so it's there forever.
Thank you. This brings us to our update from Representative Joey Andrews. Is anyone from his office represented? If not, we will move to the citizens' comments, which is a 3-minute maximum per speaker. Please sign in with the clerk, and she will call you based upon the sign-in sheet.
Glenda Bell.
Good evening, Your Honorable Mayor, and to the Commissioners. My name is Glenda Bell, and I'm here because I'm an election worker. I heard that it was being discussed that we were all going to be in one location, and I thought that was a terrific idea, for the simple reason is we've turned a lot of voters away out of frustration because they weren't where they thought they should be, or they've been told to go to too many locations in one day. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I started out as election inspector. I've worked in different precincts. Election inspector, co-chair, now I'm the chair. In Ward 2. And I just want to press on the commissioners and you also, Mayor Muhammad. If you haven't worked in the situation of helping or assisting the community, I've been assisting the community over 20 years for the city of Benton Harbor. I don't live in the city, but I've been assisting people to vote. There are some issues with our voters. We have literacy issues. We know our voters. We know them by name, we know them by face, we know the little cues they give out to let us know every year that they don't read. Oh, I forgot my glasses again. We know that they need help. And so to have us all together, all of the precincts, all of the chair people, all of us working to help our citizens. I heard it was something about taking them away from the different locations would be against some kind of voter suppression. I don't think Some of our residents even know what voter suppression is. I have to look up words. I'm not putting our residents down, but there's some words that people hear, and because they respect you all and they hear you say it, then they repeat it, not really knowing what it means. And so there was a word used here at a meeting called filibuster. I went right to my phone because I didn't know what that meant. And so a lot of our voters trust you all. And how they've been getting to the elections, or how will they get there? They'll get there like they have in the past. They'll come with family. Family will bring them, or some of the people that's running for office, they'll bring them. I heard Dollar Ride, if we go to this one location, Dollar Ride is going to give free rides. That would be even better. And I just think it would be just a huge mistake if you didn't put this voting polls, all of us, in the same place. Is that my time? All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim Wett.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Kim West, and I'm here representing West Haven House of Hope. I'm basically just here to bring awareness to our home. It is a sober living home for women who are struggling or recovering from addiction. And although we're located in Fairplain, Michigan, we still represent the city of Benton Harbor. So I just wanted to bring awareness to let everybody know that we're here, and because of the need of addiction and the opiates crisis that's going on. So we're here to support and just bring awareness that our home is here. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. West Haven House of Hope. It's, like I said, a sober living program for women recovering from addiction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where is it?
It's in Benton Harbor, Fairplain, off Napier.
Deborah Lee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Deborah Lee. I came because I have a concern about the dollar rides and the condition that some of the buses are in. Yes, a lot of them don't have any air on it when it's hot. Either the air doesn't work, or if you go to turn it on, it short circuits the bus and it shuts it down. That's not fair to the drivers. It's not fair to the passengers. I was on one on the 15th of May. It was warm out. The air wasn't working on bus 40. I got on another one to go to Walmart to pick up my medicine. The air wasn't working on it. I live in River Terrace, so a lot of times I ride the special. Bus 39, they have no air. Bus 50 is the one that if the lady turns it on, it short circuits. The heat coming from the motor is up against the pedal where they use to drive, and it almost burns their leg. One bus, the panel came off, so all the wires are exposed. And I just want to know if something can be done about getting the repairs done on the buses. Now, they have a lot of new ones, but only certain people get a chance to drive them. We don't get them all the time. And I just want to know if it's something can be done about that. I did speak with a gentleman named Todd that they told me was the supervisor over maintenance. On the 15th, he told me you all were having a meeting here on the 27th at 5:30. I came here, but it was no meeting. So then I found out that they were having a meeting tonight. So I came down to find out what can be done about it.
So Dollar Ride is a autonomous board, and they operate independently of the city commission. However, we do have a line of communication, myself as the mayor, as well as the city manager and your ward commissioners, as well as at large, also have a means of communication. Dollarite does have a board, and as you mentioned, you tried to go to one of the meetings, and you were unsuccessful in that. So I would like to give you a card
Yes, sir.
so you can email me those concerns. I did write some of them down,
Okay,
but it's nothing more powerful than the pen of a resident.
all right.
So I will pass my card for the city clerk.
And then I can find out where to go?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You email me, and I'll email you back everything
Well,
you
I
need
don't
to
have
know.
email, but I'll get it back to you. I'll call you or whatever
Okay.
that I need to do.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deidre Fields.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commission. I am here today to just talk about the Wellness Hub. In summary, I don't know who all heard before, but we are extension of the Feel Good Fridge. We are still in need of a Mayor Muhammad size, if possible. That's like a joke, but not a joke. We appreciate big and tall clothing items. And we are in need of hygiene as well as undergarments. Because I know sometimes people ask, so like undershirts for men, I don't like calling them wife beaters, as well as underwear and some socks. I'm nearly out of that. And then again, the hours are every day, 9 to 5. I do have a total of 3 consistent volunteers now, so that is exciting because it frees me up. And again, the address is 756 Pipestone across from the old health department, and it is the Wellness Hub. And I'm on a positive note. I feel like the weather is beautiful. We all should have beautiful energy and work together in regards to the community. So everybody looks beautiful tonight. Thank you.
Gwen Swanigan Johnson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen Johnson Swanigan Johnson, whatever way you want to say it. 1198 Monroe Street. First of all, I want to invite everybody out to the Peace Walk this week, Thursday, at the high school. We're going to be walking down to the MLK Monument. It starts at 8:15, and we'll be returning back to the high school. So, and wanted to invite all of you to be there and the community to come out and stand with our youth and walk with our youth and celebrate with our youth. Secondly, I wanted to talk about an issue that we've been talking about for quite some time, this tree. Y'all, when y'all gonna chop this tree down? This tree is very dangerous. I know that there have been experts come out, because I've even had somebody come out, arborists, to come out to look at this tree, and they say it's ready to come up at any time. So I don't know what the procrastination is as far as getting this tree chopped down before it becomes a disaster, or is a disaster already ready to happen. And God forbid someone is there to get hit, or the tree falls on somebody, or the tree falls, because if it falls, it's going to fall on the garden, it's going to fall on somebody else's house. And we have volunteers that are out there working in the garden also. So again, there have been experts who come out there. I've had people come out to look at this tree, and it's been said, Abenmarsh last year said they were going to chop the tree down, and it hasn't been chopped down yet. Said that in a meeting openly. And Mary, I think the last meeting you said that you were going to take care of it. So I don't know if you all have been back down there to look at it, to see how it's uprooted. But again, we need to start being more proactive opposed to reactive, right?
because there was a statement made by the city manager, and I heard him say, when someone says, you know, something's going to happen, somebody may get hit or hurt, and he said, well, if that happens, we'll deal with it then. And that's unacceptable. You know, this is public safety. This is a public safety issue. So I think we should be more concerned about our residents and our public than to have someone sitting up there that's over the city to say such a statement. So please, please come out and look at this tree, chop the tree down. They chopped down all these other trees around it. Chop the tree down so we won't have to worry about this disaster that's ready to happen. Thank you.
Marvin Haywood.
You kind of still sitting down here in this cold, but anyway, I come down here tonight because I know you want to take a little money to run the city operations. And me being a person that works in the city, they take money out of my check every week for income taxes. And I know that we have a lot of people that come into the inner city that work for March and various other organizations. And from the last time the lady that run the city income tax, she said they're not paying taxes. And I'm trying to figure out where is this, this is what she said. She specifically said it, that they were not paying into taxes. And if they are, I would like to get a copy of who all are paying into taxes that don't stay in the inner city, that may work for corporations that are getting money out of the city. Because you're talking about the city need tax funds for city operations. And I'm trying to figure out if we produced a budget that I think should be ready in July, where is the money that's being allocated for the budget coming from? If we study taking money out the city income tax fund, because once that money get into the general fund, it can be used for anything. And I'm trying to wonder if they're earmarking for that 800,000, do they got a record of what they did with the last money that was taken out the city income tax fund? Because like we said, there's a lot of money being taken. I know you're saying, oh, we have to use it. I'm trying to figure out where's the money that's coming into the city. Y'all steady talking about projects that's bringing in income. But we have a lot of people that's working in the inner city of Benton Harbor, and I know for sure that they're not paying taxes. I didn't ask certain people that work out, that stay outside of the city, that come and work in the city, are you being taxed? Because on my check stub, every time they taking taxes out of my money, I'm paying taxes, and I work in the inner city, but I don't stay in the inner city. And so I'm trying to figure out, when we talk about generating this finance, is the only avenue for generating finance coming off the people that stay in the inner city, that work here, or is it for people that come in the inner city that work? That's what I thought it was to be utilized for. Because like I said, right now, we study borrowing money, and I'm trying to figure out, where's the money, what are we doing to generate money? I remember a time that you said that the city we were in good shape, but it seemed like every time we turn around, the city steady having to borrow money to keep the city operations going. I'm trying to figure out, what are we doing that would make us be able to utilize all the general funds and whatever funds that we got for whatever operations or whatever court things, who are creating these conditions to where the funds is gone? You know, I'm just saying, we got a city manager, true, we got a city manager, but is he managing the city well? Because it's two things, what you got to get is an understanding. Because if you don't know anything, and I come tell you something that sounds good, you will believe it, because you don't know. And I think that's what's been going on. If you don't know, and you're being told something that sounds good, you will believe it's truth, when in fact, it ain't no truth to it. Thank you.
Mr. Duncan. No more comments.
Thank you. This brings us to the consent calendar items. Is there a motion for the approval, or should there be items separated? I want to recognize Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I'd like to separate number 2.
Noted.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the separated item, a resolution to approve emergency transfer of income tax funds for city operations. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion for approval.
Motion is made by Commissioner at Large Isom. Is there support? Support. It is supported by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Is there discussion? The chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Well, first of all, I want to say, this is a mess. It's unbelievable. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Let me just say, starting, a lot of people don't know that I did the audits for the UAW for over 20 years. So, something like this is red flags for me. Red alert. So, let's go back a little bit. September the 18th, 2023, it was a temporary use of Ocker to support Ox Creek. August 21st, 2023, temporary use of, these was our resolution, a use of aqua funds to support CDBG activity. April the 1st, 2024, we appointed Alex Little as interim city manager. The same day, we paid $10,000 from the aqua fund to dredge the river of St. Joe. April the 15th, 2024, we transferred $800,000 of aqua fund to the general funds. The same day, we paid $25,000, I believe that was the $25,000 for the Paw Paw Plaza. March the 3rd, 2025, we transferred $450,000 from the income tax to the general fund. Now we're here today, 3 months later, asking for a transfer of $800,000 from the income tax to the general fund. Red flags. Okay, at the public safety meeting, I asked to see itemized list of all the things that we were if the money would be transferred, what it would be used for. Did not receive it. So at the personnel and finance meeting, after that, after public safety, I asked the same thing, did not receive it. So I emailed the city clerk, who is also our assistant city manager. And I was told to talk to Mr. Little. Now, she's the keeper of records. She's also the assistant city manager. I also asked when we was talking about the government, when it came up about the March Peach Mark and what is considered, I emailed the city clerk, what is considered a government event? She told me, talk to the city manager. So I get as a commissioner, I can't get answers. Not to mention we are her boss, we're also Mr. Little boss. Also, the budget is due next month. I haven't seen anything on the budget. Nothing at all. Like I said, unbelievable. I never seen nothing like it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Kennard.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to follow. Can you hear me? Right there, okay. I'd like to just follow her statements too. I agree with her totally. And one of the things that I'm seeing too, no, the budget has not even been discussed among the commissioners. And I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be discussed before us. A lot of things is not discussed before with us. And so we're just a sitting body here, as far as I'm concerned, if we can't get answers. We have as she was saying, the budget has not been presented to us, the general fund is asking for money from the city income tax. And that's twice. And we're supposed to be approaching to having this budget ready. But then they want to ask, this tree is falling down, which is a part of the emergency for having that city income tax money. But yet, they see a need for getting that, but then letting that tree be up there since last year that we asked for it to come down. Now, if you go and take a look at it, you'll see that the roots are completely chopped off. A lot of people don't want to hear this. They got their own agenda. But I'm going to say just what I have to say. The safety of our community is very important. And that's why I'm speaking out. Yes, it's at our garden, but the garden is important. We have volunteers that come out and work
Point of
there
order,
at the garden.
Commissioner Kennard, this is about the item related to
That's
the
why I'm
income
saying,
tax,
why
not
would
the,
you put
not,
so
not
much
a
interest
garden.
in that? I asked you to even come over and take a look. I even came to your house, and you told me that you was not, in other words, that you weren't even receiving anyone. You didn't have time. So I've been to you, don't know how many
Commissioner
times.
Kennard, this is
And I
about the
talked-
income tax, it's not
Point of
about
order,
a
you guys
tree
discuss
in
whatever you
your
want
garden.
to. You guys go off
No,
the subject. Point of
we-
order,
no.
you are not to correct her. You are not to interrupt.
Point of order, Commissioner Clark Griffin, you do not have the floor?
You do not interrupt her. She has the floor. You do not either.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Mayor,
you out of order.
you are too.
Commissioner Kennard, this is concerning the agenda item.
This is concerning the
not-
agenda, and I'm going right back to the agenda.
Please,
But I'm trying to show
please
you a
speak to the
point
agenda.
of what I'm trying to take you all. You all find time for anything else, but the most important thing that keeps our community safe, or things that is best interest of our community. Now, you also read us all the big hoopla about why that city income tax should go back and go into the general fund. But when I say we need a finance director there in place to make sure everything is accounted for, that comes in and goes out. And you know I'm right. But then you all find every reason to go around it. We're tired of this because then
Commissioner
people come
Kennard.
to us and ask us, why is this, that, or the other is happening? We don't get answers. And you, Mayor, promoted it, that why we should be giving this money up. You should see why not. It wasn't originally set up for that. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, that's one of the reasons I'm voting no on this. And this is going to come back to haunt you all. And everybody going to be pointing the fingers at each other. I told you before about the water issue.
Point of order, Commissioner.
And what did you tell me?
Point of order.
I'll get back with you, Mr.
Point
Bernard.
of order,
And now it's a
Commissioner.
big issue.
I want to
I'm gonna tell
recognize
you about
your
this
time
too.
is because you going way off topic. The chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. With this particular item, I'm going to support it because we need to pay,
We need to pay the bills. But I concur, we should not be operating outside of what our budget is. We should not be, a lot of the budget is estimated, and we should not be operating out of that. As a commission, in order to get the city manager to do anything, we have to move by resolution. And so for me, this budget, this being approved, this money being moved is contingent on reducing or no more unnecessary spending. Why are we spending money outside of what has been budgeted? These numbers are estimated, and we should not be going outside of what we're bringing in. I don't care what the city income tax is bringing in. So for me, this vote is contingent on a resolution stating that we will not be going outside of what we bring in, not depending on the city income tax. That can be included. And in some cities, it is included. But we should not be operating outside of that. Even in my own personal finances. If I ain't got the money in the bank, I'm not spending it. We should not have a blank check to do whatever. And I don't think that's happening. I think there's a lot of projects and things that have come up, but we should not be operating outside of the budget. So for me, this vote is contingent on putting a resolution on the floor. And I would like to suspend the rules to do so because the city manager acts on resolution. That's how we get him to act. We need that budget presented. It should have been at this meeting. I concur with them. Today is June 2nd. There should have been a budget ready for us to approve today. There should have been a budget ready. City manager, we need a budget. So on
Point of
Wednesday-
order, Mr. Haywood, please.
On Wednesday of this week, I would like to cancel my meeting and do a budget hearing because we should have had a budget presented to us by today to give us an opportunity to look over it, to add, to make some amendments. So I need a resolution. I'm suspending the rules, so we have to do a vote. We need a budget by Wednesday. That should have been done by Tuesday, today at this particular meeting, and we don't. And it's disrespectful because I'm not a fool, and many of us are not a fool, and I know that should have happened. So I'd like to suspend the rules so that we can do a vote, so that we can have a special meeting to have that budget to us by Wednesday. I'm canceling my meeting so that we can do a meeting for the budget.
We currently have a motion on the floor.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I would hope that we could add about $50,000 and get those trees down. Maybe that will help the situation to get the dangerous trees down. I mean, right now where we're at, I do concur that. Do I got the floor? Do I have the floor?
Point of order. I mean, this is a government meeting.
Well, they don't know. They can't.
But Commissioner,
They can't. They don't know the difference because this is what they've seen.
now let me just say this. Let me just say this.
Honorable Mayor.
We got the
Point of
public
order.
safety officer here,
You are out of order.
and
You are out of
That's what
order.
they see.
You are out of
the
order.
public safety officer is
You're
here to
not
keep
supposed to be
order.
talking back
And
in
I'm
order.
asking,
You are out of order. You are out of order.
for, if you do not have the floor, whether it's in the
order.
audience or on the council, that you
You are
be
out of order.
respectful of the person that has the floor.
Thank you, Honorable.
Otherwise, we'll have to ask the public safety officer to have people removed.
As long as she's not threatening nobody, she can be removed.
Honorable Mayor,
Mayor Pro
thank you.
Tem Seats has the floor.
Thank you. Out of all these years of me serving on this commission and voting on budgets every year, I've seen it to where we've been in this position before. And I do concur with Commissioner Henderson that we do need to make sure that we know where things are going. But then there's also some other things that needs to be handled as far as even with the income tax enforcement. Because if the young gentleman spoke to people not paying, if he can get those names, then should be enforced. I mean, if people are not doing what they're supposed to do and they got 6, 7 businesses and they're not paying the taxes to help this thing happen, everything is not a non-for-profit. I agree that we have to pay the bills because what's going to happen is we've been in the situation before where we went into receivership because we were not able to pay the bills. The income tax is not a golden goose. It's not something that you just sit up and then you go get a high interest loan and pay your bills. But I do think we have to be good stewards over the money that has been given to us. And if we find waste, then we need to address it as that. But I agree, we need to have a hearing, public hearing, and bring forth all financial documents that's out there. One of the biggest things that we're spending money on is grass cutting. I mean, grass cutting is astronomical, and we can hire a couple people to get them to start pushing mowers, but that's not, I do support this, but I also say that, and I want to hear from my personnel and finance chair, because this had to come through his committee in order for it to bring it this far. And I want to hear the heartbeat of that. Why is we even here? Because it is needed and necessary for us to maintain and keep going, but it had to go through his committee, and I want to hear what our chair has to say. Thank you.
Yes, and I've said this before. The city of Benton Harbor in 2017, when we asked the voters to vote yes for sidewalks, streets, alleys, and emergencies, as deemed by the city commission. This is the second time in 7 years that we've ever, outside of sidewalks, alleys, and streets, have ever used the income tax for anything other than the said reasons. The city of Benton Harbor, as you can see, we've had mass construction all over the city. We have construction going on right now, more so than most communities, especially that look like you and I. So we've been good stewards of using the income tax for what it's supposed to be used for. However, I've also said that the city is not the same. Our expenses have changed. Inflation has increased. Costs have gone up for everything. So in order to maintain the city of Benton Harbor, it costs more money. And I said this before, Grand Rapids has a general fund. They just passed a budget of 700 and close to 80 million. 75% of their general fund is their income tax. And the other 23 cities use their income tax for operations. Otherwise, they would not be able to operate and provide city services. The city of Benton Harbor is the only city that set up the income tax as a restricted fund. The only city. And what we're doing now, we're not borrowing money because this is money that has been collected from taxpayers and placed into the income tax fund. But in order to continue to operate and to continue to pay our bills, and I would encourage each commissioner to meet with the city manager so he can show you line by line what the money has been spent on, the $450,000, and what the $800,000 will be spent on. And we still have monies left in our income tax, and it's still healthy. But as I stated, the city of Benton Harbor, we cannot continue to do the same thing the same way, expecting different results. And we're going to have to, in the future, look at where our finance, I agree, in looking at the budget and looking at the finances and looking at how it has changed. What's coming in, what's going out, what's outstanding, and how we're going to address it. But how we addressed it in 2017 or 2018 and 2019, yesterday's solutions cannot solve today's problems. And they're much different today. So I want to yield to our Personnel and Finance Chairman, Commissioner Edward Ison.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. In March 3rd, I think, we had to move $450,000 to operate the city. And we approved that. And in that meeting, I did say we'll be back here again. And here we are. We're here again. Because, city manager did a good presentation on how the water plant served so many customers back in the day. Now, the same water plant is pushing out the same water, but not the customers. The customers are going now. So, and the mayor was here, did a Q&A, so we had all the questions answered. But the city got to operate. The city cannot go down, And as for the budget, I have asked city manager, he gave us a calendar. Here we are. And I commend Commissioner Henderson on bringing it up, pushing that we do need the budget and to keep the city rolling forward. We're going to have to. And we're going to be back here again. At the Personnel Finance meeting, the money is just not coming in the way it is. I'm just being truthful with you. I see the numbers. I said it at the Personnel Finance meeting last week. I don't know how much it's going to be next time. But we need all hands. We need people to pay bills. We need the water bills. On the water bill, you got the sewer, trash. So to keep the city running strong, and being strong. We're going to take all of us and we need the budget to see where we at, and we got to cut some spending. Finding ways, to cut the grass cutting was a tremendous hit to the budget. So we need to cut costs in different ways, and here we are.
And I just want to also say, the city has over close to about $100 million in federal grants. Money coming from the state, money coming from the feds. And in order to receive that funding, we're 28 million, probably about 18, 19 million to renovate Harbor Towers, probably 25 or so million, but 32 allocated to redo bus. Ox Creek, $1 million for Hull Park. And I mean, I can just run it down, but we're talking about $800,000 versus tens of millions. And our role is just to make sure that we continue to keep the city moving and provide city services while we have other monies coming in that's going to help our community. But if we would say, oh, no, we're not transferring the money, we're going to keep the income tax money in the income tax fund while we got other monies coming in to help our community, then I think we'll be cutting off our nose to smite our face. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton. This is for the council, so it's not public comment. We already had public comment. Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I think in that meeting also, we was trying to figure out how the general fund, got, experiencing the problems. And there's several things. And one of the biggest ones was you mentioned about the water plant. People wanted us, to keep the plant. And the state said, if you're going to keep it, you're going to have to figure out how to finance it. And we're now operating, I think, and we knew back then that we were operating at something like $2 million in the hole with that. So the general fund is the catch-all. The general fund been funding some of the shortfalls on the water plant, not to mention the cemetery, and other things. So until we get control of that and get more revenue, the general fund, that's what it's for. You gotta pay your bills. So $2 million, you keep operating $2 million short with the water, your general fund gonna continue to take a hit. So, and you gotta pay your bills.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. My comments here are, there has to be a time when the city gets back on track. We can't say, oh, the budget has been late for so many years. We have to get it back on track. It's next to impossible to think about cost-saving measures when we don't have a budget. So I do agree with Commissioner Henderson. That has to be urgent to get the budget. And I also do agree with what some people are saying here today. We do have to pay the bills. So we have to, in order for the city to run, we have to pay the bill. So I will support this, but just reiterating, we must have a budget. We can't fix anything if we can't see the numbers with checks and balances. We have to have a budget. So I'm hoping we can get that as soon as possible so that we can see how to efficiently try to cut costs so we can be in a better position go forward.
Thank you. And I agree, Commissioner Warren, with you, everybody. We definitely need a budget. If I were presenting the budget and I were Mr. Little's shoes and I was looking at over $800,000 in bills, trying to present a budget to the council, that's tough. That's very tough. So that's why it's so important for us to pay our bills so the manager can look at a budget, look at where we are at, what we have paid off, and because he also has to present a budget that's not in the red. That's by state law. So he can't give us a budget that's a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $800,000 deficit. So it's imperative that we pay our bills so he can present us a budget that is in the black. Now, last year, I believe the budget that was presented was probably not even $20,000 in the black. So we were right razor thin in that budget. But if we look at all of the expenses, just if I were to say lawsuits that the city is fighting now, the legal fees is insurmountable. That wasn't part of the budget. But we have to continue to protect the residents and protect the city, which means that we have to pay attorneys. And that's just one item, but it's much that can be said. I do want to yield to the manager just so he can give us his timeline for the presentation of his budget, which is really not a part of this discussion. But I do know that it's important for council people to know as we move forward when you'll be presenting that budget. But if you want to speak to the importance of, if you're going to present a balanced budget, how important it is for you to be able to pay bills first.
Thank you, Mayor. We are finalizing the budget now. I worked on the budget yesterday, today, and we're trying to get everything together. I answered earlier an email that I got asking about what happened with the timeline and so forth, and I took the time to spell out exactly what was going on when I should have normally been working on a budget back in March and April. I was working on trying to not see the city go through losses on the community change grant, which was $20 million, is fighting to try to help us hold on to. I knew the administration was changing in Washington. We had a lot of pieces out there, and I wanted to try to secure as much and as many of them as I possibly could. We had been really battling the last year to try to get as many grants and so forth as we possibly could. And once we saw what was happening, we knew it was going to be very important to take certain steps to try to activate, start to spend on some of them and whatnot, so as not to be in a position to lose money through clawbacks and so forth. We're still fighting over the $20 million community change grant. Another thing that was going on and has been all this year, and that is the battle to try and get these bills paid. There are a lot of things that are happening with your city. Some things we knew, and it was within our control, and we made the decisions like Commissioner Ron Singleton said about the water plant. When we made the decision to go forward with the water plant, we also made the decision that we were going to have to deal with about a $2.5 million deficit every year until we could get that balance. That plant's a 12 million gallon a day plant. It used to produce, before your emergency manager came, 8 million gallons every day that was being provided to Benton Township, St. Joe Township, Hager Township, part of Sodas, Whirlpool, and all over. At the workshop a couple of weeks ago, I went through and outlined and actually showed a copy of the document that it was signed by the emergency manager that stated certain customers would no longer be City of Benton Harbor customers after that date in 2011. That's where the money went. And you've been running a deficit position ever since then. Nothing you can do about that except try to come up with other solutions to gain additional revenue and other solutions to try to cut costs. And that's basically what we've been doing. Now, we as a city have to be responsible for the decisions that we make. And we don't have control of everything. Like the mayor said, we've got tremendous legal bills that we're dealing with. They weren't planned for, but they're coming in. I won't say the figure exactly, but it's huge. And it continues to come in by the month. We don't have the money, but we still got to pay the bills as best we can, because the situation that involves and requires a legal fee is still ongoing. It's not stopping. And for it to keep going, they're going to send a bill. They're not going to work for nothing. Perfect example. Last year when we did the budget, our insurance for the city had been running around $500,000 a year. 2 months after that next budget year started, the insurance figures went up to $700,000+. Wasn't planned for. You don't have the option to just turn around and say, I don't want insurance. You got to keep paying it. And that happens with everything that we have to deal with. As everyone up here is saying, we have to pay our bills in order to continue being a going concern. It was those kinds of problems that were going on before your emergency manager came that caused you to have an emergency manager. We don't want to go there again. We've got to work together to try and get out of the situation that we're in. And as I said again, there are only two ways to do it. You try to reduce costs as much as you can and try to increase revenues in other areas. That's why you've seen, again, back in March and so forth, when I could have been working on the budget, we were in here working on the trash bill and trying to get revenues raised so that we could afford to pay our trash bill. You will recall back then we had an instance where we couldn't pick up the trash because we had no place to dump it. We owed them $21,000 and they said, until you pay us, you can't dump anymore. And if we can't dump, the trash trucks are full and they're sitting there and we can't do anything. People complain about it. Last year we spent $376,000 cutting grass. We don't have the money to do that this year. We can't afford to just add that much more debt to us. So we're trying to do it a different way and doing the best that we can. The budget will be put together this week. We'll do whatever we need to do, special meeting or whatever you prefer, in order to go through it. And I'll be more than glad to sit down with any of you commissioners and answer any questions you have and show you whatever you need to see. After all, it's your business and it's public documents. So that's where we are on that. But this other stuff, people making statements that I haven't made and that kind of thing, I can't do anything with that. I've got my hands full just trying to keep this thing together. And like I said, I spent a half a day yesterday. This evening, right from the time everybody went home until this meeting, I do that continuously because we don't have money to pay other people to do it. We've got 13 people in this building now. And the total, and besides the police department, that's the full city staff in this building. And what that means is I don't get to enjoy just sitting back in a chair and managing. I got to pull out pencil, copying machine, calculator, whatever it takes, and work myself as well as the other stuff that I'm doing.
Yes, and I would just add, Mr. Little, when you first came in the 80s, how many employees was it for the city of Ben Harbor?
We had 137 employees.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Yes, sir. We had 137 employees.
And how many do we have today?
and now we're down to about 68, 69 total. And that includes, when I say that figure, that includes the commissioners. In terms of actual employees, we're, I think, right around 59 or so.
So, you know, go ahead.
And if I might add, as has always been the case in the city, the lion's share of the numbers are in police and fire, public safety. Back when we had 137, we had about over 30 people in public works. You now got about 5. Back then, we had quite a significant number out of the water plant. You don't have that now. In this building alone, the whole basement floor had about 20-something people down there working. Nobody's down there now. And in, on the second floor in this building, I believe we probably had somewhere close to at least around 17 or so.
So, with that being said, you know, the city is being ran on a skeleton crew. And, you know, from a tax standpoint, and maybe you can speak to this, Mr. Little, the city gets revenue from property taxes. The personal property tax went away. State share revenue has shrunk. About 12 to 15 years ago, the city was receiving over 2.5 million in state share revenue. Now it's a little over 1 million. During the 80s, 90s, we were receiving over $1 million in CDBG. Now we're receiving a little over 300,000. So there's been a lot of changes, and as Mr. Little mentioned, in terms of employees as well. At one time, our cemetery was ran by the cemetery board. There was a director, and they operated autonomously. After the emergency management left, the cemetery was dismantled, the director was fired, the board was rendered vacant, and now the city is basically funding the cemetery operations. So there's a lot of changes that have taken place over the 2010 to 2017 when there was under emergency management, even with the water department. The state gave us an ultimatum. Either you keep the water department and run the deficit, or you have to buy water from the township or from St. Joe. And we had a whole group of people come down and say, we don't need to lose our water plant. We need to keep the water. That's our best asset. We listened. And we holding the tiger by the tail. Because if we keep it, it's going to be a deficit. And that's why we have to get Project T. We have to get Corner Wall Street. We have to preserve our current customers, and then we have to build to get more customers. So we get more people paying into our water system. But when you lose all of Benton Township, which is all the businesses, all the residential homes, St. Joe Township, Hager Township, that's hot. You can't recover from that unless you add more people. So these are real issues. And what we can't do is kick the can down the road, and I'm coming to Commissioner Henry. We have to come up with solutions. And lastly, our residential taxes is not enough to run this city. It's not enough. We're building our commercial tax, but the two of them together is not enough. And that's why it's so important that the residents pass the income tax. Because one of the things we said was 90% that work in Benton Harbor don't live in Benton Harbor. And yes, they are paying taxes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to move $800,000, $450,000, and still have a healthy income tax fund. It's the people that did that. And our audit was 100% clean, unmodified. Nobody stealing, nobody taking anything. We're just making do. But when we transfer money from the income tax to the general fund, that keeps us from robbing Peter to pay Paul. That puts us in a position to where we don't have to rob, we don't have to borrow. We can move money that is in our fund to take care of our business. I want to recognize Commissioner Henry.
Well, I want to talk about transparency and inclusion. Then I can talk about a couple other things, but when you hear that questions are being asked, our job as elected officials is to inquire. That's what the charter says, that we are supposed to inquire. And in my lifetime, when you ask one question, it leads to another question. But if you don't get to answer the first time, big red flags fall up. So here I am asking questions. And some of the answers that I'm getting is just, some of them are almost asinine. Because I want to just scream when I read or I hear what's being said. But this money that we keep pulling out of to general fund, Ben Harber's been broke for a lot of years. We've had a lot of things that happen to us. And the state of Michigan called it mismanagement. And they came in and took over and left us with a hole, a big hole. Our water, it's just, what they did to us was unbelievable. But they've been gone since 2017.
That's correct.
And we have not fixed any of those problems yet. That makes me know that something is going wrong. If we just think we're going to keep doing the same thing and getting the same results and the situations change, when they ask us and say where you are financially, they want us to increase revenue and decrease expenses. That's feasible to me in my household. If there's a cash flow, I'm going to try to bring more money in or decrease what I'm spending. But that's not the case. Our financial director comes here and they talk to us and they say, the city is short of cash. We should not be spending any money. And in that same meeting, we approved to spend money. That don't make sense to me. If our best asset is water, water is better than gasoline now. Then why don't we use that access to make more revenue? Instead of taxing citizens, we've had more increases this year than I've ever seen on the fees for ordinance fees, for whatever the fees are. It's an increase to residents. So I'm going to vote no on this because I'm usually voting no on things that I don't approve. But we do need this money. And maybe it is because of mismanagement. I'm not sure, because the budget has not been presented to us. We haven't even been able to see the amended budget. Last year, the budget came in a week or two before it was due. And we didn't get to see very much of it, and we haven't seen it since. So now, am I being, looking at things in the wrong way? but something is wrong. It does not line up. The stuff that I'm hearing about grass cutting, it's all connected to somebody's ego. So I'm going to vote no on it, but it is something that we need. And if you want to hear what we're spending that money on, they're going to have to tell us. If not, we're going to be like little dogs in the windows, bobbing our heads, saying, yes, we're voting for the budget, and the state's going to expect it to be given to them July the 1st. It's your money. It's not our money. Well, it's our money too, but it's residents' money. So when I hear my residents say, well, we didn't get our alleys taken care of, and this is how many? This is the second, third year, and our alleys are not being done yet. That's what they wanted. The alleys done. So that's what that money was for. And they asked us to put emergency in there because they knew that they were going to ask for more money, more money, more money. I just think that something's wrong, and everybody need to get involved in it and find out what's wrong.
I want to add, Mr. Manager.
I just wanted to say there is certainly something wrong, and for whatever reason, we seem to not want to hear it. When I came back to the city, October 2020, I had one responsibility, and that was to straighten out your CDBG problem. Your money was frozen, and you had almost $2 million of CDBG money backed up. We finally got it unfrozen. We met all of the requirements that they had to be able to continue carrying it forward. Part of that $2 million that we had then is paying for demolishing houses right now, because that's where we had put it, and we knew it was going to be the one opportunity we'd get to have money to demolish houses. But within about the next year, the city had a real blessing, a good fortune. You got $10 million ARPA money. And the last time I heard the comment that was just made about it's the citizens' money and so forth, it was when, and I have tried to be as diplomatic about this as I can and not sound like I'm criticizing the folks that work for it, because once the decision is made, it's our decision, not theirs, it's ours, and I'm part of it. But I remember saying when we're talking about doing $2 million, I said, the city is going to need that money. I said, when you look at a balance sheet, the cash you have is an asset. The receivable you have is an asset. And if you're going to take one asset to extinguish another asset, you're doubling the reduction of your total value. But it was done anyway. I just advise, and nobody has to take the advice. But in any event, that's where it started to slide. We had at that time a significant amount of unpaid bills, and it's never gone away. It has never gone away. It's still there. And all we're trying to do at this point is stay afloat while we keep doing the things that will begin to, as the commissioner said, increase the revenues, taking care of the deficit that we were running with disposing of trash by increasing the rate. It wasn't a whole lot, but even a penny helps because it begins to raise the revenues. I had a question asked about what happens with the shut-off fees and how much money and so forth. It was answered about $50,000 a year for doing the shut-offs and then turn-ons and so forth. But I also answered that the real cost of doing that is about $200,000 because the $50 fee that gets paid on these shut-offs, that doesn't cover it. We got people out here working on overtime with a minimum of 4 hours call out on Saturdays and Sundays and nights. And we not only cut it off one time and go back to turn it back on, and we have other problems and they have to go back again. And every time you do that, we're paying people. $50 don't cover it. Those are some of the many, many things that we're trying to fix. We've got them all over the place. It was almost like a sad joke about a year ago when we were talking about the parking out at the beach, when people weren't paying for parking and they were getting $5 tickets. Now, just figure it out. Costs $10 a day to park, and the ticket's $5. Why would somebody pay $10 to park? Just pay the ticket and save $5. And we got this all through our system, and those are the things that we're trying to take care of little bit at a time. I don't see a value in advertising all of these deficiencies publicly. But I try to talk with the commissioners and explain it to them. That's why I'd be asking to have meetings, a couple at a time, so I can sit there and go through these details and give them the information that I don't think helps our case to put out in the open. But so they'll know what's going on. Some of the commissioners won't even come to the meeting. Say they're not in, put it in an email to them or whatever. But that's what we're dealing with.
I call for the question.
There's a motion on the floor.
So, to present the budget on Wednesday to the commission, canceling the legislative committee meeting to have a budget presentation to the commission, because that hasn't been presented to the commission. So that's what the motion is on the floor.
The legislative committee can host a budget. It's no, right, yeah, it's no need to do a special meeting, there's no need to cancel anything. The legislative meeting, the budget is a part of the legislation and legislative arm of, because by law, we have to produce a budget.
Correct.
Noted.
So we need to do a resolution to add,
To do what?
a resolution, so that the city manager will present that budget on Wednesday, because it wasn't presented in today's.
Yeah, you're presenting them Wednesday, correct?
Well, we can present it Wednesday.
Thank you.
That will be on Wednesday's agenda. Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Is this on what are we voting on? Because I'm confused with the resolutions now. Which one are we voting on?
We are voting on the resolution number 2.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
No.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
No.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard?
No.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to staff comments. Chair recognizes our Deputy Director of Public Safety, Director Clark. Chair recognizes our City Clerk, Clerk Moore.
Those on the absentee list should have received their applications. If you did not, they should be arriving in the next couple days. This is just for those that are on the application list. If you checked the checkbox for the permanent ballot list, you will not receive an application. You will not receive anything but your ballot. And I'm encouraging everybody that's on this application list to check that box, because that will be dwindling down. The state will kind of be getting out of the AV list because they want just the permanent ballot list. So just so you don't miss out, I encourage everybody to check that box that says, please mail me a ballot for every election. If you have not received an application and you want to be on the list, you can do it online through the website or through the Michigan Voter website, or you can contact my office and we can get you that application.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I've said enough for the evening.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Kennard.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank each and every one of you that came out tonight. And I hope that we can fill this place with residents that live here so you can, hopefully, we can get an understanding as to what is happening. You ask questions, you don't get answers. But we can get to the point that we can start demanding that we get answers. Please come out. And the more you come out, the more you'll sort of pick up on what is going on. I do know that sometimes you can put $1 million in every day, but they'll still cry broke. We're still broke. You need answers as to where that money is going. And there's nothing wrong with answers. This is not our personal money. This money is here for the use of our community. So continue to come out. God bless you all.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the citizens and anyone that's on YouTube that's listening to us. This is about the residents and where we've been missing you is when you stand up 10 toes down and elbow to elbow. We have to stand up for ourselves and the future that dim looking future that's there for us. So we have to stand up for ourselves, make the elected officials understand your plight, get involved in the budget. The budget belongs to you. They say it belongs to the city manager and the commission, but it doesn't. It belongs to you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and I'd like to thank everybody that's listening. You know what? I didn't come down here to play. I didn't come down here to play with people. And I didn't come to be played with. And they playing with you right in your face. And you deserve so much better. Y'all deserve so much better. I want y'all to follow the money. Follow the money and demand answers. Even if you have to put a FOIA in, that's federal, and it has to be honored. Have a good night.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for coming out tonight. What's going on in the second ward? So we had our town hall meeting last week, and some of our major concerns was dumping, and with the new city reward program, we're hoping that is decreased, and we'll try to have more cleanups. And residents also want to be more aware of like the ordinances, so we're working on that as well. The community yard sale this year will be in September. We did October last year. We'll do September. So more information to come regarding that. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to thank all the residents for coming out, all the comments and input from residents on tonight. Just wanted to say there's a few things that get me fired up about things, and I agree that transparency is a very key component in government. And I like to thank the city manager. I remember all of the things that he talked about until he came. The city was looking a mess. There were a lot of things that were not done, and he was a key to unlocking a lot of the things that have occurred. But I also agree that when it comes to the money, we need to stay within our budget and do things within our budget and there were some things that has happened where it has cost the city, and we're still paying those things. As he stated, the $2 million deficit that the water plant is running every year. So every year since we voted to get that fixed, and I think last year or the year before, we had to make a determination if we were going to keep that. And so they told us it was going to be a $2 million deficit every year, and that is a part of some of the debt we see. But I do despise the fact that people are making it seem like somebody's stealing. None of us have a credit card. Nobody's stealing. The city is in the condition that it's in because of years of mismanagement, and now we're coming back from that. Nobody's taking money. It takes a lot of money and time to right a ship that was wronged, and that is what is occurring. So I don't want people leaving here thinking, oh, the city no, that's not what's happening. What's happening is a righting of the ship, but there's also a way that that needs to be done so that there's transparency and that there's communication about what's happening. I want to see us stay inside our budget. And I'm clear about that, and I think there's a way to do that without continuing to damage the progress that we've made. And so hopefully on Wednesday, we'll get a chance to see the budget and see some of the things that we've taken care of. But there is not any wrongdoing going on. And to continue to try to create division in our community by spreading lies and half-truths is wrong, especially with the city that's trying to grow and on the move. Stop spreading lies and half-truths about what's happening here. He exposed himself a lot of the things that's happening, and it is in black and white. And I've been here for a long time, longer than I even wanted to be here. And to see the growth and the opportunities that has happened in the city through good fiscal management up until this point. There's been good fiscal management, but we need to gain a little more control over staying within those confines so that we don't have to continue to go into the city income tax, which was designed to help meet some of those shortfalls. So the city of Benton Harbor is on the move. There are some great things happening with the apartments that's happening, housing that's being built, and trying to continue to grow the city to bring in revenue so that we can meet some of those deficits with the water, especially bringing in water customers. Because when they left, all of those businesses that were that's in the township now, those used to belong to the city of Benton Harbor, those customers did. And we lost all of those customers, so that was a huge revenue loss, as the city manager discussed. And so I appreciate all of the work that he's put in, him and this team of people, all of the employees that work here. They have done a tremendous job with the little that we've had, but we still need to rein in some of those unnecessary expenses. And I think there's a way to look at the budget and find some of those, some of the fat that's in that budget. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Couldn't agree with most has said. Thank everybody for coming out. And my good friend, Ms. Lee, I will check on that dollar right issue that you have too. I do sit on that board. They did meet on the 27th, but it wasn't at the normal time because the chambers wasn't available. They met at 1 o'clock. That was the only time they could meet. But yeah, that is, it's hot outside. I don't think nobody should be on a hot bus. It shouldn't even be on the road if it's not. So I'll be checking with the executive director, Mr. Sharon, and everybody know that there's some challenges with Dollar right now, and it's some really tough challenges, but we're trying to work through it. And some of the similar issues, that got it in the situation it is now, but hopefully we can work through it because the bottom line, the people who really need Dollar right should have opportunity to have that service available. So doing everything we can to keep that service, but it's, I would be lying if I said it wasn't a challenge. It is a big challenge, and hopefully we can get over that.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, all your comments, I'd like to thank Ms. Glenda Bell for her comments about voting, being a leader in the voting experience, elections. The Veteran Day Memorial at Cemetery, Crystal Springs was great. I went out there. I didn't realize that it was I was looking for a cross standing up, but actually it's a big old cross on the ground that's shaped like a cross with all the memorial flags on it. And you did a good ceremony for that. We had the kite flying event a week ago. It was great. Got a lot of kids out, what we wanted to do right by Discount Tire. So that was the main goal, to get the families out, people seeing it. And a lot of people came. It was different from being at the airport, but right there is a good spot for this event. And today we did approve the brownfield for the Project T. That is real big for the city, and that project will be all can come to groundbreaking for that. The transfer of the money. As personnel and finance chair, I see the numbers and I just read them off at the finance meeting. And, it's this, I can say, I almost can read it by heart. We low, but the city manager do a great job of directing us in the good, right direction. We talked about the budget, now it's finally coming. Thank you, Commissioner Henderson, for pushing and for getting it going. We did get a calendar for that, but, I know he's stretched out, pulled around, but at least we got it going. We can look at it, talk about it, Commissioner Henry, and work on it and continue to move this city forward. And the Personnel Finance meeting, the third Wednesday, 5:30, be here. If I can tell you the numbers, what we have. God bless you. Expect great things.
The chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and to all the residents, Ms. Bell. Do appreciate you and this young lady who came to talk about sobriety and protection of women and getting them where they need to go. That's a huge undertaking to have, and hopefully some great things happen. Large-minded people talk about big ideas. Medium-minded people talk about medium ideas. Small-minded people talk about people. I want to say that. I want to commend Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Henderson, and Commissioner Warren, who have worked with this Project T project to see it through. Work from the bottom to now where the baby is being born. Imogene Hull Flats didn't just come up from nowhere. And I do want to say this, and to this commission, it's almost an insult to vote no, but then show up to the ribbon cutting. You voted against it, but you show up for the sandwiches and the juice and the cookies and the ribbon cutting, but you voted no. So I will say that that's kind of embarrassing, seriously. I want to commend the city manager, and I'm going to say this to this body again. All the city managers that left here have sued us because of hostile work environments. The community beats your employee down. You got people calling and emailing and just attacking employees. As a boss or as a manager, you shouldn't attack your employees, whether it's the clerk, whether it's whoever. If there's a problem, these individuals have their door open. But I think we've been so relegated to getting the clap or getting somebody to say amen or getting something in this audience to where the doors are open. Go talk to him. And if he fails to respond or she fails to respond, or whoever fails to respond, then put it in writing. Because they are employees and you do not want to create a hostile work environment. They still have the rights of any employee in the state of Michigan and in America. So because they're the city manager does not mean they're not an employee. There's still guidelines and confines that you have to operate under. From NSP 2.1 to NSP 2, from all the development heads that we've had, we've worked and Benton Harbor's looking good. We brought back Whirlpool to the parks, and people were saying, well, leave the park doors unlocked in the bathrooms, and you got pictures from the public safety where they destroyed the bathroom. It was destroyed. And yet we want to say the city, you have to have rules and regulations. No other city, we don't go to no other city and ask for the things that we ask the city of Benton Harbor to do. And I must lastly say this. You pay taxes to the state of Michigan. You pay taxes to the United States of America. When the last time we told the governor what to do with the money? We sure ain't telling Trump what to do with the money. But because we are, a little bitty city and, people tend to want to say Benton Harbor's stealing. I tell you one thing, we were down here when we got $25 a meeting, didn't have a cell phone, didn't have an office, never had a credit card. Check with Director Clark. I don't even use the cell phone they gave me. So to say somebody's stealing or trying to take advantage, and there's people who were getting money, getting full-fledged checks from the city for a little bit of nothing. And we talking about stealing and thieves. Thank you for having a great meeting, and thank everybody for coming out. And please pray for the city of Benton Harbor. They need it, because it could get worse.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out. Tonight, we were able to approve and move forward a development that's going to provide something that is currently in crisis now, which is housing. So that's a huge, I think, thing that was done tonight, but also, as we stated, a piece of property that is currently helping with running a deficit. We put back on the tax roll and we repurpose it, and that property becomes productive. The conspiracy to destroy the city of Benton Harbor is layered. The conspiracy to shut down Benton Harbor area schools, City Hall, take the water plant, take the dollar ride, the airport, all is in play. A couple years ago, I asked people to come out and play a fun night, Benton Harbor-opoly. And oh man, what he doing? He trying to this. I'm letting you know, the city not only is for sale, but if you look at the board, the high school is for sale, City Hall is for sale, everything. And while we fight and argue with one another, those that are throwing the rock and hiding their hand are working quietly. Part of the three-step plan for the counterintelligence program, which was to destroy every black organization. Number one was to discredit. Number two, to destabilize. Number three, to destroy. So we see the discreditation campaign taking place of black leadership and leadership in the city, where the mayor don't know what he doing, the city manager, he don't know what he doing, he's stealing. It was said that somebody said the mayor, I wish he was dead. If his whole family was dead, I wouldn't care. But we not concerned about that. It's being said, or it's said it's being said. But if you look at the communities, Inkster, Detroit, Flint, Benton Harbor, Saginaw, Muskegon Heights, high school gone, Highland Park, high school gone, Inkster, high school gone, Detroit is a skeleton, the public school system. Detroit went into bankruptcy, which the original plan was for Benton Harbor to go into bankruptcy. Some of the properties annexed. The fact that the city of Benton Harbor is still operating and still open and we're able to transfer $800,000 is a miracle. Believe it or not. And I can say, I've been blessed to be in many different offices and in many different circles of power. And the city of Benton Harbor is not only on the move, but the city is on the grow. And we're going to continue to move forward and continue to be prosperous. And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Henry? Yes. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard? Yes. Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.